Alright. We're coming in nicely. Alright. So, this is another of our Goodnight videos. In these videos, we just take some time to relax, take it easy, and not worry about much besides just taking it easy for a little while. So I hope you'll join me. Today, we're focusing on a very gentle aesthetic. It starts with laying in your bed, sitting down, leaning back in your chair, and just taking it easy for a little bit. Nothing too difficult, nothing too hard. But bear in mind where you are, what position you're sitting in or laying in. Think about how far away you are from how relaxed you might want to be. Maybe you've had a long day. Maybe it's been tough. Maybe you need to relax a little bit. Well, come on in, Sue. Glad to have you. But either way, now is the time to take it easy. So, hello, Ella. Glad to see you in here. When we're laying down, when we're nice and comfy, safe and warm, someplace soft and away from the elements around us, we think about a pillow under our heads. We think about how warm it might be to just have a space heater on or an electric blanket. But what if you could be sitting in that electric blanket right now, right here with me, just taking it nice and slow. At first, you don't feel the heat, right? You don't feel how hot it is. At first, it's just kind of a dull sensation in the back of your mind. just at first. Thank you for the follow. Glad to have you crackle. It's a small thing, right? Feeling the current going through the sleeping bag, but you don't notice it to begin with. You're just sort of laying there in whatever comfy position you'd like to be in. And it's nice. You know, it's nice not having to worry about tomorrow or today, or even 5 minutes from now, or anything at all. Just focusing on the next time you breathe in. Which is shallow, maybe. Getting less shallow by the moment. It's a small thing, though. Small, small, small. Maybe you're not tired yet, but you'll get there. Just laying back, taking it easy. And it's a line somewhere, or a square, maybe a hexagon. That dullness of the heat, the warmth. Where does it start in your sleeping bag? Does it start at your feet? That's where I'd like mine to start, if I'm being honest with you. But maybe it starts right next to the collar. That heated sleeping bag. It just sort of bumps little dots of heat, saying hi, waving hello to you. You almost don't notice it at first, but the dots, they come and go. Some of them repeating in the same spot. It's a small thing. It's very small. But the heat, it picks up a little bit, just here and there. And as the heat intensifies just a little bit, I think that our sense of where we are, of when we are, and what time it is, what's going on, I think it kind of changes, It changes with the heat. It's such a small, tiny thing. But we keep forgetting, bit by bit, sentence by sentence. And the heat is starting to really become noticeable. Maybe it is around your hands or shoulders, around your neck. The little dots are turning into wide circles. Wide circles. Stretching and broadening. And every time that you think about it, it gets a little bit warmer. A little bit, just a little bit. And you know what? In no time at all you can think about is that warmth spreading across the sleeping bag. And you don't have to do anything for it to happen, to generate this heat. You don't have to become a fetus or move your feet in bicycle motions to generate the currents. All you have to do is lay there and enjoy yourself and soak up all that radiant sensation. It's really starting to pick up by now, and before you know it, you're whisked away, whisked by the heat. You can't think about anything else but how safe and how comfortable you feel. And in that sensation, in that comfort, You could be anywhere. You could even be on top of a mountain. The world at your feet, at the crown of the world, the planet, stretching out before you. But in your safe sleeping bag, warm and cozy. It's almost like you haven't left your bed at all. And when you hear the wind howling, when you see the sunrise, time passes, sure. The sun goes over your head. The wind and the snow change. The sun goes all the way around the earth. It's been a long day, stretching on and on. But eventually the sun starts to dip. Maybe you roll over to see it. That orange and red ball in the sky. It dips lower and lower over the horizon, and you just watch it move. Do you know how much time it takes for the sun to set? Usually somewhere in the hour period. But how long does it take for somebody to relax? Maybe it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Maybe it takes an hour too. What if I told you it could happen in an instant? And you don't have to wait for it or rush it or hurry it up. It just happens. It's in a moment, a single breath, not even a second. Where those layers of your day, they just peel off. Peel off like heavy clothing. Peel off like a weight attached to your body. And you set them down around you, because right now you're laying in this comfy position with the sun going down in the distance, taking in the moments that you can, taking in this gentle approach. And when the sun sets, when it goes down, how do you feel? How do you feel watching the day end? Watching time fly by slowly, but maybe fast at the same time. The hypnotic suggestion of a pendulum comes to mind. The seconds ticking. But it's not fast. It's so slow. The sun, reverse, peaking, lowering and descending in the sky. Until finally, it sinks. And the horizon captures it completely. And there's that moment where the sky is orange on one side and red and purple on the edge. And the purple is the dividing line between day and night. A dividing line that seems to go on for eternity until you don't know where one color ends and the other begins. You might not know. It's the same as when sleep starts to happen, because usually it's not in an instant for most people. It's a train of thought that goes into a tunnel. But not the whole thing at once, of course. The front of the train You start to not be aware of it at first, but you're slipping into a fade. And then the train's almost halfway through. And it's a fogginess, a looseness all over you. And you feel so relaxed and so loose. And you can just watch that spot in the sky just moving. What does that spot look like to you? Maybe it's a thin, specific line. But maybe it's more of a blob, like an ocean wave. Imprecise, spilling like blueberry juice. But it does slip away into the corner of the horizon. And before you know it, the sheet and tapestry, the millions of dots in the sky, they slip overhead. And you can see the night is coming on. Maybe the train's more than halfway, 75% of the way into the tunnel. At this point, you don't really know what's going on. You're in a haze, a daze. The facade of consciousness and awareness is sort of falling into something more peaceful. And it doesn't happen in a moment. It's more of a connected series of thoughts. Stringing together. String and thread, weaving onward into someplace new, familiar but new. And you hear the wind. the soft billows of the mountain. And in the distance, slowly peeking its head up, showing you that it's there. That orb of white. But tonight it's not white, it's more orange, isn't it? The wolf moon. It starts to rise. So maybe you turn over to get a good look at it. Just a quarter, and then a half, and 3/4, and then the whole thing. It takes time for it to rise. It really does. But all good things take their time. When the moon starts to rise, and you're just laying there on the mountain, that warm sleeping bag around you. You're just laying there, as calm and as peaceful as can be. The wind picks up, and you hear the very twinkle of the stars above you, looking down, shining and reflecting on the snow. How does it feel to be this high up, but this safe? Bound to the earth only by a single peak of a mountain. But still so close to touching the stars. So close to heaven. It can seem crazy. It can almost seem impossible. And we go through so much every day, so much. So much news and so much work. Remembering to eat or wash our hands. Sometimes we even forget to breathe. This is a sacred place, though. Sacred and just for you. And in this sacred place, you can stay and lay, and maybe even you can pray if you'd like. But these things you pray for, let them be for a better tomorrow, a kindness to yourself, a kindness to others. Laying here, just taking in the sights of the moon, rotating around the earth. The side that we see, only one half of the moon itself. The dark side is still there on the other end. But you see this this marble in the sky, reflecting all of its light at you. Moonlight. It can almost seem like a dream at this point, because you're so far away from everything else. All of your responsibilities, all the things that you think about and want in your day. When you're right here, when you're in this place, nothing's needed from you. Nothing at all. You can just take your time. Just take your time. With all this quiet here, all this space to ourselves, it can be nice to just have this time to ourselves. Just cuddling up nice and tight by ourselves. How warm does your blanket get? That sleeping bag. A defense against the cold. While the sky changes and the moon looms, and time passes. It's just a small little thing. And maybe you forget where you are or what you were doing. You forget a lot of things. Forget about your aches and pains. Those little things that you worry about in your day. Here, they just fade away. In this safe space. It's a good place to be. A really good place to be. In fact, there might not be anywhere better than this. It's the same sort of thing as laying in a blanket that's fresh out of the dryer. Fresh out of the dryer. Smelling nice. Toasty. Cozy. Cozy atop the mountain. In this place that is so far away. What kind of dreams do you want to have? There's certainly a few that I can think of. Sometimes our dreams are adventures, or sometimes they're trysts with people that we are attracted to. Or sometimes they're complete lives, all on their own. When you dream in this place, it's not just a wish, or a want, or a feeling. It's a whole world. A world of calm colors, smooth sounds, low voices, and peaceful music. It's everything you could ever want after such a hard day. And with all this going on, with all this happening, it can almost seem impossible. But when you really put your mind to it, I think you can figure out almost anything, can't you? With how strong you are. And you don't have to be very strong to figure it out either. To get in touch with yourself. When we're in this place. There's a lot going on. But it's so smooth and so quiet. It can almost feel like nothing's happening at all. I'll answer more questions when the stream is done. Thanks. This is a quiet place for us. A very quiet, comforting place. If you're still with us, which you may not be, you may be long asleep by now. What are some things that you'd like to do tomorrow? Go ahead and think about them now. Maybe you'd like to do your laundry. Maybe you'd like to brush your teeth more. Or maybe you'd like to just take more moments like these in our quiet place, where you can only hear the sound of the wind moving against the ridges of the rocks. As for me, I'm going to make sure that I take plenty of time for myself. Plenty of time to do nothing to relax, to be ready, and to be prepared. Preparedness from absolute non-doing. A mode where anything can happen, like this one, where it's just quiet and safe. It can be life-changing sometimes. To come into places like this. It is for me every time. Because every time I learn something new about myself. This is a profound moment. Being this enriched. Enriched in not doing anything. How many moments do you think you get like these in your life? Probably not enough. So you have to take them where you can. And make sure that you hold on to them nice and tight. As for the rest of us, it's time to turn off that blanket, turn off that sleeping bag, and slowly stretch out. Stretch out as much as you can. Maybe you push the fabric a little bit. Maybe your toes pop and your legs creak. You might even yawn. And when you do finally get all the stretching done that you need to, hold onto the zipper of your sleeping bag and slowly zip it down, piece by piece, inch by inch. Until you're finally free from your little slice of heaven. And when you stretch again, you feel yourself nice and rested from what you've just been through. Nice and ready to take on your day, to finish what you started this morning. Leaving the mountaintop behind in the moonlight. And whenever you like, you can start again. But for the rest of you, thanks for coming here. Thanks for staying. And wherever you are, I hope you're sleeping soundly. And I wish you a good night.